Am I in the right thing here?
Okay, I'm moving down to the group room one. If anybody wants to follow.
What? Oh, you're streaming. You to communicate.
What's that? Can you move
Oh,
down there?
he jumped out. I think he asked what you were streaming.
Oh, some of these, like the quartering, Timcast, some things that I saw and wanted to react and comment on.
You know, when Timcast, they're normally pretty good about being neutral, but when they become biased to one side, i.e., pro-Trump, you gotta know that it's like this shit for the mainstream is coming to an end.
Right. But yeah, are you able to move into group room one, Kane? I don't know what permissions you were given.
I think so. It says confirm. I just think I just have to confirm.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Can you see the video?
Yep.
Okay.
I wonder what that Tesla phone's gonna be like.
Oh yeah, you see that? Did you see it before I posted it?
No, I just came across your thing. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have it be able to communicate between your servant.
Right. Control your Tesla bot. Probably control your car too.
I was gonna, I'm sure. And then leftists are gonna be screaming, "He'll collect all your information." But it was okay. China did it.
Hmm. Hold on. Thought I had this set up, but apparently it's not showing my Discord.
And them accomplishing the SpaceX spaceships is like, that's just amazing to see in our lifetime. The things like people that grew up in our age should really be writing books because the transition between things is just.
Hold on. I just realized I have the other server. Okay, that's why it's not working. Okay, one sec. I set it up for my server. I gotta set up for this server.
Hmm.
There we go. All right. I'll get all the kinks worked out eventually. All right, unmute this. Let's try it.
You absolutely love to see it. There are multiple government agencies that have not only
Have you ever watched this guy
been
before?
stealing our money,
Yeah.
our taxpayer money. By the way, if you're, in the UK or Canada or somewhere else, we all understand each other. I'm sure there's some BS organizations where you live too that are stealing your tax dollars and spending it on crap that you don't agree with either. So now that Doge has been kind of exposing a lot of it, but also starting to hit some roadblocks, many people, including myself, have wondered what's going on with, what these people are doing seems to be criminal.
Yeah.
Right? What these people are doing seems to be criminal. What's going on? I mean, shouldn't some of these people be charged?
Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump announced criminal charges for places like USAID after Doge has now covered wild abuse. And this is what I voted for. Let's look at the story. By the way, I know I've talked to you guys a lot about blueberry coffee, or please help me get in the federal workers at USAID could find themselves behind bars for fraud after Doge uncovered a new massive spending scandal at the program. Pete
You know what that'll lead to?
Deputy
Giving up
Administrator,
names.
Administrator Designate at USAID.
Yep, that's how it always works.
The foreign
You catch the little fish, and then you use the little fish to lure in the big fish.
Implemented by President Donald Trump.
Well, a lot of them should be scared because just this coming out, if any of them had anything to do with Hillary,
regarding actions within USAID being exposed by Elon Musk. I mean, I think what these people are doing is criminal. And I also think the more that, people dig in on the topic, they're going to find more and more waste and abuse. They're going to find more and more government kickbacks. They're going to find more and more, payments, payoffs, and things like that. Now, I'm not saying I have any evidence of it, but I'm saying I'm pretty dang sure that it exists. And when they find it, I want these people to go to prison because they stole my money. If you're in the UK, you're in Canada, you're some other nation, you're in Australia, and you found out your government was taking your tax dollars and using it to buy off other governments or buy off other people, things of that nature, I think we'd all agree, right? This is not okay. Morocco told the committee, apparently there's still judicial action that has even come out as of late this morning. Representative Keith Self, Republican of Texas, who was told in the meeting, told DailyMail.com in an exclusive interview, they intend to refer USAID officials to the Department of Justice. He's sharing now, noting how fraud is a criminal act. Well, yes, it is a criminal act. I think we agree on that. You see, if they are detecting outright fraud, not just bad programs, not just ignorable programs, ignoble programs, sorry, and not just programs that don't support the national interest of the United States. If they're finding fraud, then absolutely the wrongdoers should be prosecuted. I mean, how many of these
Yes.
scumbags are just freaking the F out right now?
Probably a lot of them. And then Tim Pool is talking about this, and he made a suggestion that I agree with. He didn't make the suggestion. He brought it up in his video. Jeez, I can't talk tonight. That Trump was, with these criminal charges, that $2 billion that the lower court is forcing him to release, Trump is like, okay, well, I'll release the $2 billion, but anybody that receives the $2 billion is gonna face charges for receiving fraudulent money. So they release the money, you get charged with fraud and face jail time, and we seize the money back because it's evidence in a criminal case.
Mhm. And he called her out, too.
So yeah, sure, you little corrupt little lower leftist court.
Strap in, boys. $375 billion.
That's
EPA
fucking
slush fund,
insane.
handled by John Podesta, gave billions to charities founded only months earlier. You want to come to me and tell me that's legitimate? I'm going to call shenanigans. Let's grab this story, my friends, but don't forget to smash that like button, share the show. Let's read. The Biden admin funneled at least $20 billion into environmental groups, most of which had only recently been founded, the Post has discovered.
Kind of a little
Some
low.
are arguing
Unless it, is that me?
this was
Oh.
a last-minute panicked operational
that
slush
better?
fund that
Yeah.
before, with Biden being like, they knew Biden was going to lose, and they were like, we need a backup plan. And that backup plan was send billions of dollars through circuitous means to various NGOs so that they could use it to fund Democrats down the line to compete with Trump in the midterms. I'm not saying that's true. Just some speculation.
Seems likely.
They go on to say, in one case,
So
former
walks like a
Vice
duck.
President Kamala Harris handed over a check for nearly $7 billion to Bethesda, Maryland-based group Climate United Fund, which does not appear in the IRS's charities database and has no federal filings. Let's go, baby. Come on. You know what's going on. I know what's going on. They know what's going on. Kamala Harris handed over $7 billion to a charity that does not appear in the IRS database with no
that's fraud.
filings. Shenanigans. The nonprofit fund had only been incorporated in Delaware on November 30th, 2023, according to public records. 5 months before Harris handed over the cash in 24. Are you kidding me? They file. 5 months later, Kamala Harris gives them $7 billion.
With a B.
That's a B right there.
You just
billion. DOJ, Pam Bondi Cash need to rip that to shreds.
Yeah.
I'm saying full-on investigation. Every
No.
book, binder, dresser, whatever.
Put the rubber
you name it,
gloves
every
on and
office,
go
every person,
diving
you know
in.
what that's all about.
Elbow deep in
Climate
a-holes.
United Fund
Mhm.
then announced the historic of investment in a press release, noting the group's work delivers benefits like cleaner air and increased energy security. However, because the company is so new, there's no publicly published accounting of how it plans to spend the $7 billion. Projects have been announced, including $10.8 million pre-development loan solar project on tribal lands in eastern Oregon and Idaho, and a $32 million.
So they're gonna
solar
ruin
energy
tribal
project at the
lands.
University of Arkansas. But they
Mhm.
represent only a drop in the bucket of the grant's amount. Ethically speaking, it's concerning, said Lori Styron, CEO of Charity Watch, an independent charity watchdog group. What was the purpose of creating middlemen entities when there are so many established groups in the climate space with good track records? What was the value added in by doing it this way, especially with such large sums of taxpayer funds?
They
The
know
cash
why.
for the charity
And there's
came
only one
from
reason.
a huge $370 billion climate slush fund of taxpayer money overseen by John Podesta, a political consultant who was chair of Hillary Clinton's failed 2016 bid for president and White House chief of staff to Bill Clinton.
Oh,
I warn all of you not to look up Andrew Breitbart's comments on John Podesta. Anyway, moving on. In 2022, President Joe Biden named Podesta to helm the Climate Fund, which resulted from the Inflation Reduction Act, a 2022 law that was aimed at combating climate change and creating clean energy. Last year, EPA advisor Brent Efron was caught on video describing how the agency hastily parceled out a related $20 billion climate fund that was held by Citibank before the end of the Biden administration. Get the money out as fast as possible before they come in. It's like we're on the Titanic and we're throwing gold bars off the edge. He said in the video.
Yep, that was that
online
video.
activist group Project Veritas. Remember when I said that, my friends?
They're taking the money and run.
I said, baby.
They knew Trump was coming in and going to stop their fraud.
China and running for the lifeboats. That was the game. They knew years in advance. Here's what I think. I think they knew with Trump's victory in 2016, he wasn't supposed to win. They had lost control. Who's they? The deep state, the bureaucratic state, the intelligence agencies, whatever you want to call it. They had lost control of the narrative machine, and they knew they were done. 2020 was a last-ditch effort. They knew they could not do it twice. But they needed 4 years to rip the system to shreds and steal as much as possible. And here we are. Now, I don't know if they're going to go to jail or get caught or how this plays out. My bet will be patsies will take the fall. But we'll see, man. Efron was acting in his private capacity when he made the comments, which expressed his personal views. An attorney representing him said. Mark S. Zaid told the Post. He also claimed the comments had nothing to do with the funds which had been administered. Now, Lee Zeldin, the new EPA chief, said he wants to claw back the cash doled out by the Climate Fund. On Monday, he called on the agency's inspector general to investigate. The Biden EPA gold bar scheme was designed to limit government oversight while doling out funds to far-left organizations pushing DEI and environmental justice, Zeldin told the Post in a statement. Of the 8 pass-through entities that received funding from the pot of $20 billion in tax dollars, various recipients have shown very little qualification to handle a single dollar, let alone several billions of dollars. I have zero tolerance for waste and abuse at the EPA. A spokeswoman for the Climate United Fund told the Post that the Biden-controlled EPA encouraged groups to work with coalitions to receive the cash. She said that the EPA cash out of the Climate United Fund is parked with Calvert Impact, a related nonprofit. Oh, boy. The Post found 3 entities called Calvert Impact, all of them based in Bethesda, making it more difficult to track the flow of money. How about
Shell
that?
game.
Another example, the similarly named Justice Climate Fund. I love it. They're just the same names now. Is a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit, which was set up in 2023, has yet to submit a tax filing to the IRS.
Okay, so let me get you up to speed. So, where are we? Timestamp 3131? 3153, I mean. Okay, where did this start? Oh, it wasn't that far. So, we were at the quartercast, or the quartering, was talking about, and Tim Pool was also talking about this. Trump is considering criminal charges for the USAID staff to charge them with fraud. And in the earlier portion of this video, I think, Tim Pool was talking about how Trump plans to charge anybody that receives the $2 billion that the lower court is forcing him to release. So anybody that's going to receive any of that money will be charged with fraud. And then they do that, they'll be facing criminal charges, and the $2 billion will have to be seized as evidence. So it doesn't get doled out anyway.
Where is the $2 billion going? Do they said specifically? Or?
They don't. There's no trail. They said, "Oh, it's for work that was already paid for," but there's no details on what work, quote unquote, was actually completed. So it's obviously for fraud. Or fraudulent, I should say. So if he charges them, whoever receives it, if they get charged with fraud, then they'll be facing court time and then possible imprisonment. And during that time period, the $2 billion will have to be seized as evidence, or whatever portion of it per each whoever, denomination that it's going to, whichever ones are being charged, that portion would be seized. So
Interesting.
and now he's talking about the $375 billion slush fund that they set up these temporary NGOs and not nonprofits to receive these funds right in 2024, right before Trump took office. So
They're just trying to throw as much money away as they can before he gets it.
Yep. Trying to steal it. Like he was talking about here.
Yeah, they recorded a guy and he was literally telling them that was their whole plan.
Right.
Because they knew it was going to end.
Harris gave $7 billion with a B to this startup NGO nonprofit thing that claimed it was doing environmental stuff. Started up and then wasn't listed in the IRS and had no filings. And 5 months after that's when 5 months after they started, that's when she gave him the $7 billion. That doesn't look criminal as fuck.
I love it. They're just recycling the same names now. Is a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit, which was set up in 2023, has yet to submit a tax filing to the IRS and has no information about its principles on its website. The group received $940 million from the EPA.
This is a different one that's set up just like the one I was telling you about.
Working with community partners to drive transformative investments focused on reducing pollution, among other goals. I got a pitch to the Trump administration. How about this? There's a group that it's a nonprofit, and actually, I want to make sure I get the name right. So let me make sure I can pull this one up because there's two names. There's two names. They do great work. Whoop. Let's grab this. Here we go. And I want to make sure I get the name right. There are two organizations. There's O'Keefe Media Group, which we know, and then they have another one because there's a nonprofit arm, and I want to make sure I get the name right. O'Keefe Media Group, I believe, is James O'Keefe is for profit. So one could say the federal government could contract the O'Keefe Media Group for certain jobs. But what about giving them money? I'm pretty sure O'Keefe Media Group is a for-profit business. It doesn't mean that he's operating just for profit, but I think James has. Is this it? Yes, it's the Citizen Journalism Foundation. There we go, baby.
Yes. Fund independent journalists.
Let's pull up James O'Keefe. I got a pitch. If they're going to be sending $7 billion or more to their cronies, how about this? Is there perhaps a mis and disinformation fund? Maybe the federal government could give James O'Keefe $7 billion. Oh my God. Could you imagine what James could do with $7 billion? O'Keefe Media Group would operate forever. Wow. Let's do this. Let's say that, what are the current interest rates? What are current interest
Jesus, the interest on $7 billion alone.
Let's just do this. Let's give James O'Keefe an endowment of $7 billion. They want to play these games. I'll play these games. We're looking at 0.41. It's pretty low. Let's say James puts $7 billion in cash. Let's say if I put $7 billion in cash in a bank at 0.41%, how much do I earn per month? We'll ask the old robot the question and see how much can we give James O'Keefe? Because he deserves it. You guys should check out the Citizen Journalism Fund. He's doing great work, man. Big fan. Uh-oh. ChatGPT knows where we're going. It doesn't like that we're playing this game. We'll let it. ChatGPT sucks. It just freeze. Okay, here we go.
Use
You would-
Grok.
You would earn $2.3 million per month in interest.
Yep.
Let's just do this.
That's nuts.
We'll take the $7 billion. We'll grant it to an account, and the
Pay him
money
with the
can't be
interest.
spent by James. No, but he can have the interest. Yeah, the government interest alone would give James it's $2.39 million per month. It's $25 million a year. That's the game they were playing. Now I'm joking. Well, I'm half joking. I'd love it
Yeah.
if Citizen Journalism
We need to.
Fund
Yeah,
actually
they're
got a
gonna
massive
pull all that
multi-billion
shit and get away with it.
Because I think James does good work.
Fuck them.
That being said, if we're talking about a group getting $940 million from the EPA, and you've got the Climate Justice Fund and the Justice Climate Fund, oh boy, this is what they're doing. When you get $7 billion, you don't need to use that money right away. You put it into various accounts. And look, let's be honest, like nobody's putting it in a standard savings account. You can put it in a high yield account. Let's see, like, what's current high yield savings interest? Because I'm pretty sure it's higher than that. It's probably like 1 point something.
Oh,
You can
jeez.
get $5 million per month. High yield could be, whoa. National average is 0.41, but some institutions provide competitive rates up to 4.75% or higher. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, look at that. Open Bank has a 0.41. That's wrong. All right, baby, let's increase it by an order of magnitude. You put $7 billion on the books for James O'Keefe. He's cranking out $20 million per month in interest alone. Insane. And then he can just take the $2 million, leave the rest, and let it compound. This
Yeah.
is nuts. Understand,
It's nuts.
they are creating permanent funding sources for their criminal enterprise. That is
Yep.
my opinion over where money like this ends up. I'm not saying, I don't know nothing about this Justice Climate Fund, Climate Justice, whatever they're doing. I'm saying the grand
Wouldn't
scheme of
it
things with the
be
funding of this money, in
hilarious
my opinion,
if,
is that
because I was
they
saying
know
this
they
for
can
a
put it in
long
high-yield
time,
savings,
if they
and
did
not
a
even that, that's
RICO
stupid.
case
They can put it in stocks.
against a
Nancy
bunch of
Pelosi
them,
can tell them exactly where they're at with the
just
money,
like they
and they're going to make
did
bank.
the mafia
It
and the
is
gangs.
infinite power.
Well, I want to
maintain
know.
resistance.
Uh,
Trump is going after this. Understand.
yeah. What's
reason
the
why
IRS
right now
deal
Trump's
on
mission
this?
is
All this
largely
stuff. Yep.
Doge.
It's
and
gonna.
why
They're
it's so
gonna have
important.
to see it. They're
He
gonna have
knows
to.
the deep state and the bureaucratic state are using this to provide themselves resources indefinitely that you will never compete with.
Right.
You can't. Come on. You get paid. You put your paycheck in the bank. What interest do you get? $20 a month if you're lucky in a high yield savings? They're getting $20 million. Insane. Uh-oh, there's more. Another third group, Power Forward Communities, Inc., was registered in 2023 and shows a total of just $100 in tax revenue in its tax filing for the year, according to public filings. Yet the Columbia, Maryland-based nonprofit somehow received $2 billion from the EPA fund. Holy crap. $2 billion. That's a B, ladies and gentlemen. The group said. So what could they pull off with that? $7 million a month? The group said it is part of a coalition of 5 other charities, including United Way Worldwide and Rewiring America, a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit, which announced former Democratic Rep. Stacey Abrams would work as its corporate counsel in 2023. Interesting. However, Rewiring America only registered as a corporate entity a year later in Delaware, in December of 24, according to public records. As of February 24th press release from the Power Forward Communities says the group has already committed $539 million to expand and preserve affordable housing, improve air quality, and create good-paying jobs by ramping up energy efficiency across the country. Tim Mayopoulos, the former CEO of the housing financial company Fannie Mae and a Democratic donor, is listed as the group's interim president and CEO. He contributed $5,600 to Joe Biden's presidential campaign in 2020, federal filings show. Power Forward Communities has no list of board members on its website, but does list job
It's a
openings for
darn
government
good
affairs, VP
thing
of communications,
that
blah, blah, blah.
Elon and
Justice
President
Climate Fund
Trump
and
have the
Power
American
Forward
people
Communities
backing
did
them
not return the
because
post's calls requesting comment. Maybe
this
because there's
level of
nobody there
money,
who actually does communications, and
they'll go to no
They start
end.
wars for
no
that.
answered.
Yeah.
The FBI and the DOJ have both launched investigations into the grants, and bank accounts holding billions of dollars have been frozen as the EPA attempts to get it back, the New York Times reported Tuesday. Let's go! Donald Trump, Lee Zeldin, Elon Musk, you are doing the Lord's work. Bless your hearts.
Tear
Look at
this shit
man.
away from them.
Look at this story. A nonprofit forms, and then with no tax filings,
People won't know
with
how
only
much
just recently, they get
the
$7
Lord's
billion.
work it really is when it starts getting
They
into
got
about
caught.
the kids
They have
and the
frozen the money.
situation that a lot of that money was
Based.
going to.
I got an idea. Guys, how about this? Instead of giving $7 billion, we break it up and give 1,000, or actually, I suppose we could do 7,000 disabled veterans, each get $1 million. How does that sound? I like it. Was my math right on that one? I think my math is right on that one. That would be based. Or we could just give one guy $7 billion. I don't know
Or you
how
could give
crazy
every
they can go if you
household
did that, though, right?
$100,000,
Just like one
and that would
random,
just
like disabled vet and be like, here's $7 billion. He'd be like, oh. Actually, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a real. I'm. You know what? I say that. I say, Trump, give a tunnels to towers. Give them seriously.
Yeah, it was
give
the
them
people's
$7
money
billion.
though. It's been the
Problem
people's
solved.
money that's
You
been
put
being
that
stolen
money
for
in a
almost
bank,
a century.
like I already said, at 4% if you're doing a high yield savings, or you're doing
So,
bonds or whatever, and you're
they
pumping
need
out
to
20,
do
30
a
million. How many? You could buy
reversal
50
payment
houses
to the American
per
people.
year for disabled vets and for the families of
Actually,
fallen soldiers and first
they
responders.
could give
I will tell you this: the one thing that I really despise,
Yeah, just
the most
reverse income
about our current
tax.
structure
Yeah,
of society,
a living tax.
and,
Yep.
and you know, I try to be careful
Yep.
because I understand the structure of the market in society is just the way it is largely, but it always really pissed me off.
And the smart
that
thing about that
disabled
is
firefighters,
that would make,
police
dude, our
officers,
economy would be
soldiers,
so
first
sick.
responders,
Right.
And the more
get
they
nothing.
did that, the more
I mean,
our
it's not like they get
economy would
literal
get,
nothing,
like, we
right?
would have,
there's funds to help
so
them,
much money.
but I always just
It would create such greatness.
Yeah, like households would be relieved. They would go out and buy more
Mm-hmm.
and save and buy, invest in stuff.
Create more. And then other people, other companies overseas would want to be here for sure.
Yeah, it
They'd
would
wanna bring
make
their
things
business.
so great.
Mm-hmm. Be the only country in the world where the people got paid.
By their government.
Yeah.
Not really actually by their government. It was just all of the money that was stolen is just being
Going.
trickled back to the people.
Mm-hmm. But in turn, it would be strengthening the economy.
Right,
It'd be
because
the
we put it
greatest
right
thing.
back into the country
Yep.
instead of straight into the
business.
government.
There, dude, everybody would be able to make their own, start a business.
Mhm.
And that's what would make the whole world better.
Or just like live,
Mm-hmm.
like actually live.
It would.
Like
Within
no
such a
worrying
short
about your
time.
bills being paid because you got it covered.
Yep.
You'd be building your savings. You could retire decent.
It'd be like the 1950s, 1940s again, where people could buy a house and only one family member could be working. Like, yeah, it
Mhm.
would be.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic. There wouldn't be poverty like now. It would be gone. Crime would drop.
Yeah, because people wouldn't be fighting over resources. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see what they find on this. I hope they tear some new assholes in some of these shitbags. So, another big story. I know it's coming from Tim Pool. West Virginia banned artificial dyes in the state. Like, you can no longer sell anything in that state that has artificial dyes. And that's huge for the whole country because when one state does it, those companies have to change their entire production. Because it makes no sense to just make part of a product that doesn't have them and ship them to one state. They would have to have two production lines or run more product, which is more expensive. It's either you capitulate and get rid of the dyes, or you don't, you lose out on that money for that whole state. So,
a bombshell report from West Virginia Watch. Now, it's fascinating as this is a local news story to West Virginia, but I'm going to tell you this is one of the biggest stories in the nation right now. West Virginia said it passes bill banning artificial dyes in food. Opponents say it's overreach. Cry more. Quote, this is probably the most important bill that we will vote on in our entire careers, here said Senator Laura Joaquin Chapman, Republican of Ohio. Okay. Our health is not for sale. Is that like Ohio County or something? The Senate overwhelmingly approved a bill banning synthetic dyes in food after Republican lawmakers stressed that it would make food healthier for West Virginians who have some of the worst health outcomes in the country. The measure, House Bill 2345,
okay. I think
cleared the House.
the statistic is like West Virginia has the most
blue, green, and red
obese
dyes, including red 40.
in the country.
It helps give candy its cherry red hue. And I believe it's made from those little mites.
Yeah, the red dye is made
like an
from the
aluminum
mites.
substance in them that is bright red, and they mush the little mites, and then it makes red, and you eat it. Then there's tartrazine, which is a yellow dye, which is made from coal tar. Gross. So basically, let me. Here we have bill status here. Can I see this? I want to read the actual text of it.
What the
We'll pull it
fuck?
up in a second. But I'll tell you why this is one of the most important things happening in the country right now. Let's say West Virginia is not the biggest market for any food product, but there is like 1 million something people live in the state. So how many boxes of cereal, perhaps? Let's say toaster pastry of some nondescript brand, and they've got blue, red, and yellow dyes in them because the sprinkles on their strawberry toaster pastry nondescript item. That company now can't sell in the state. They're going to say you can't sell those here. They've got a banned substance in them. This company is gonna now have to do a cost-benefit analysis where they say, how much will it cost for us to shift into a non-synthetic dye to use natural dyes like banana, carrots, or blueberries, which is, I believe, what Canada does. They don't use bananas. Or they might actually, something like that. In Canada, they use carrots and blueberries and raspberries and stuff for the various colors. And they might say,
Which would only
it's going
make
to cost us
sense.
$10 million to change production. Okay, how much money are we going to lose in West Virginia? We're going to lose $10 million. They're going to say, so we break even, but then in the following years we make that money back? Okay, change to all natural dyes. This could have nationwide effects on all food production because one state did it.
It's
That's
the first
crazy.
step.
I also wonder what that means for us going to the grocery store in West Virginia because literally every food item has these chemicals in them. And
Is
now,
this something you've been consciously avoiding?
food dyes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I got Pop-Tarts downstairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was about to
and
say.
they're delicious.
You ordered like about 1 billion of them.
1,000.
1,000.
1,000 Pop-Tarts. Come on, we got like 30 people who work here. Those things are going to be gone in 2 weeks. The brown sugar cinnamon is the best flavor.
I like those too.
Yeah,
But
so good. We do have s'mores and cookies. You know, whatever. We bought them because Julia, who skates here, she says they're illegal in Europe. So you can't get them. And we were like, what? So we had to buy them.
Yeah.
So we had to buy a bunch. And then when they're back, we're going to make ice cream sandwiches out of Pop-Tarts. Listen, RFK Jr. eats cheeseburgers sometimes. Being healthy doesn't mean only eating carrots like a rabbit.
right.
I think this is
Moderation.
one of the best things we have seen in the country.
But it
and
should
I'm glad
only
it's happening
be
in West
food
Virginia.
products.
Now, if only
Right.
they would
It
get rid
shouldn't
of the
be
crack
coal
law
tar.
where they ban independent contracting, maybe we could have something
Hey,
going good here.
there's
but
this yellow
I
chemical
gotta be honest,
waste.
this
What
is
should
a
we do
grand
with it?
slam from
Let's
me.
feed it to the
A grand
people.
slam.
Yeah.
West Virginia. I'm
Don't
curious,
throw
though,
it
if
out.
They make, like,
We'll make money off
do
that.
they use the red and the blue, or do we need to watch out for the purple ones because they're still
Probably.
bad? Or
Only the primary colors, I'm guessing. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if this is outdated information. I'm pretty sure that West Virginia is still the highest obesity rate in the country.
No way.
Yeah, in the entire country. I don't know why that is, but I doubt artificial dyes are to blame.
Dang, I thought that would have been Texas.
I think
Isn't
What?
that true? Highest morbid obesity rate in the entire country?
I don't think so. I think let's
Or it
find
might
out.
have.
It
might
could
have
be
been
related to
relatively
thyroid
recently.
stuff because if
I
you
thought
look
said
at a lot of
Texas or another
areas
southern state.
I thought it was Texas.
that don't have iodine or iodine
Let's
deficient,
find out.
It's pretty high up on
there's
the list.
West
a
Virginia.
correlation with
It
thyroid
is. It
issues.
is.
Adult obesity rate in the
Plus,
U.S.
if those chemicals slow down your
41%,
metabolism or
Mhm.
cause
followed
you
by
to
Louisiana,
not
Oklahoma.
process certain
Yep, yep.
things the right
Yep.
way.
This might not be the
Yeah,
the-
eating
the
coal
number
tar
one
can't be
stuff.
healthy for you.
Yeah. The tastes are changing, I think, especially among young
Well, look at
people.
how
I
the
noticed
red
that
dye
sweet green,
causes
this
those
really
effects in the
trendy,
kids
like,
where
Mhm.
fast casual
Yeah,
salad
eating
thing,
mites. Yum.
just introduced new French fries, which they fry in avocado oil instead of seed oil.
Oh yeah, bunch of
And you're paying a
places now are
premium, of
using
course,
beef
but
tallow
you're
now.
paying
They're
it so
switching.
that you
Yeah.
can follow the trend of against like not
healthy,
eating seed
not-
oils, which is like kind of
Outback's
it's
one of them.
interesting,
Like,
how the
yes.
fashions of food change, because I remember like 5-10 years ago everyone was going vegan and everyone was drinking oat milk.
Yeah, that
and
vegan movement
eating all
killed.
these weird boutique vegan
Or
food
I wouldn't
brands
say
which are
killed.
hardly even
It might have
food.
caused some
And now
deaths,
the
but
trend has
it
shifted and young people wanna
destroyed
drink bone
our
broth and
health.
And
they don't wanna
Spindrift
eat
and
seed
s-
oils
and s- and
anymore.
Like, I remember I tried to
Yeah,
do the
exactly.
almond
Spindrift,
milk,
sponsor us.
and
You're
They're all-
after a few
they're
weeks of drinking
posting
it,
pictures of their
I
dinner
had
on
terrible,
a
terrible
rustic
stomach aches.
cutting board.
Yeah.
And they're really
This-
into like eating raw meat and things like that.
I don't know about
In
raw
gre-
meat.
in
I eat
That's
raw
cool
meats a
now.
lot.
Look at this. Spindrift. They know what's up. You know it's gonna be funny when it turns out like the guy who runs it is some like super woke crazy guy, but that's fine. You make a good product. Carbonated water, grapefruit juice, orange juice, lemon juice, and hibiscus for color. They didn't gotta mush those little bugs and put them here to color it. They put a little bit of flowers in there, and hibiscus tastes good.
Hmm.
So we got the bill pulled up. This is amazing stuff. A bill to amend and reenact 1672 of the Code of West Virginia, 1931, as
It is-
amended,
it is
relating to
really
the
important.
prohibiting certain products that are injurious to health. Yo, check this out.
That's the first
Any
step
drug or
to
article of food shall be
people
deemed to be
feeling
adulterated within
better,
the meaning of this article.
being
Yeah.
less
For the purpose of the
heavy.
article, in the case of drugs, if when sold under
Yeah,
or
because
by a
no
name
one can
recognized by
deny.
the U.S.
Like,
Pharma,
even the
Pharmacopoeia, is
kids
that how you pronounce it?
are so
Official at the
tired
time.
all
It
the
differs
time.
from standard strength
And
quality.
when we were
Right.
younger,
And
we were not tired.
like you said, their attention deficit issues.
Yeah,
That's
it's hard. For
that's
them.
gone crazy in the last 10, 15 years.
And that
I mean-
also has to do with the TikTok and the Facebook and the YouTube too, because they
That's-
can't
yeah.
watch anything longer than 2 seconds.
Right.
They got that programmed in them, that urge to move on. And they're
Be
never
purely
actually
laid
learning
down therein.
anything.
Let's
Right.
just say blah, blah, blah on the pharmaceuticals. They're basically saying, like, if we already think these things are bad, which includes heroin, blah, 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 we're including that. But let's scroll down, because it is actually, this bill is actually more pronounced than just dyes. If any inferior or cheaper substance or substances have been substituted wholly or in part for it, if any, I should start with the food or drink, right? In the case of food and drink, confectionery, or condiment, if any substance or substances have been mixed with it so as to lower or depreciate or injuriously affect its quality, strength, or purity, that's insane. That's crazy.
Good.
If any inferior or cheaper substance or substances have been substituted wholly or in part of it. So this is going to get rid of this could actually get rid of certain seed oils. If they're using vegetable oils in place of dairy or something, one could theoretically argue. If any valuable or necessary constituent or ingredient has been wholly or in part abstracted from it, so like non-dairy cheese maybe. If it is an imitation of or is sold in the name of another article, whoa. If it consists wholly or in part of diseased, decomposed, yeah, we get that. If it is colored, coated, polished, powdered, whereby damage or inferiority or is concealed, fine. Or if any means is made to appear better or greater than the value than it really is. It's interesting. And here's the juicy part. If it contains any added substance or ingredients which are poisonous or injurious to the health, including butylated hydroxyanisole, propylparaben, FD&C blue number 1, FD&C blue number 2, green number 3, red number 3, red number 40, yellow number 5, and
Yellow number
6.
5 and 6 are
They go on
big.
to add,
Mountain
if
Dew
it's
is
sold
gonna
under a
have to
coin
change
name and
their
does not
shit.
contain some ingredient suggested by such name or contains blah blah blah.
Well, look at
There's a
Fanta in
couple
2
in there
different
that are pretty
countries.
massive.
Like,
And it goes on to add
what's
unsafe food
McDonald's
additives
gonna
prohibited.
do?
Article 5D West Virginia Feed to Achieve Act, red dye 3, 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue dye 1, blue dye 2, green dye 3. And then it adds, an elementary, middle, or high school may permit the sale of food items that do not comply with this section as part of a school
I don't like that
fundraising
last
event
part.
if the sale of those
Yeah.
items takes place off of and away from school premises, or the sale of those items takes place on the school premises at least 1/2 hour after the end of a school day. That's a ridiculous exemption at the bottom.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
It's almost like allowing people to be drug
I'd like to
dealers.
see RFK
They'll
Jr.
be
should be
standing
invited to
there
West
like,
Virginia when the
hey,
governor signs this.
I got those Twinkies.
Good.
So this is
I got some good for you.
It's not just
It's a statewide ban on all of these dyes.
$50.
And that includes cartridging, which RFK Jr. did a big video about,
Yeah.
which is coal tar
There'll
derivative.
be people getting
that
chased
they
down by the
put
cops for
and it's
selling
been associated
Twinkies
with
and
several
ho-hos.
health injurious effects. Look at this. 32
I
yay,
want
2
to
nays. Is that
see,
legit?
like, say
Yep.
they
Like, yeah.
change that,
Wow,
like,
good job, West
immediately.
Virginia.
Let's go.
Governor better
Will
sign
it
this.
cause
There's going to be a
some
lot of
type
big
of, like, a
companies pissed off
detox
because they're going to be
effect
like,
amongst
Oh, I'm
people?
sure people are. There's going to be a whole wave of people like, I don't feel quite
Do you
right.
guys
Nausea,
assume that
yeah.
this is going to be something that
Yep.
other states are going to take up? Do you think that the federal government's going to jump in on this? Do you think?
Yes.
Because
I think
getting all that out of your system,
I'd like to
man.
see
Especially
RFK Jr.
for
start
like
lobbying
kids and
Congress.
people that just
It's
live
narrow and it's
primarily on
Non-stop,
junk
companies.
food.
You're going to
Yeah.
have a big cereal producer, and they're going to lobby the member of Congress who's going to be a Republican because they're going to be in some rural place in Oklahoma, and they're going to be
They'll
growing
be trying
corn,
to
and they're going
slap
to say,
every kid on
this is going to
ADHD
cost us
medicine
an
because
insane
they'll
amount
have
of
all
money to
kinds of
make this change.
energy.
And that's going to cost jobs. And then when these people are all laid off because you voted on this, we're going to remind them it was you. And so you're going to see some squishy Republicans on this one, but statewide, it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, Republicans. There's a lot of arguments against it that you're going to get from small government conservatives, right? That anytime the government says you can't do this, you can't do that, there are small government conservatives that are like, no, this is bad on principle. Libertarians wouldn't like this. I think that I actually saw Michael Malice tweeting about he doesn't think that it's good the government do these kind of things.
What, banning dyes?
Yeah.
Why?
That's
I don't
just
remember his
dumb.
exact.
It's wrong.
I don't remember his exact.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason was because the
It's
government
dumb.
shouldn't be involved in this kind of stuff. The government,
The corporations
principle.
aren't entitled to the same freedoms that
I am not
individuals are.
going to argue
Yeah.
Michael Malice's position.
You've done it. Michael Labonte, you are wrong.
my point only being that there are going to be people that are going to make those arguments.
Well, we need to fight back against them. If you're against it, you get primaried. Goodbye.
Shouldn't be using them
Yeah.
in foods.
Mhm.
The things that Trump laid out in the speech last night. The
Yeah,
instances of
corporations
child
don't
cancer,
have the right,
instances of
any
obesity,
type of right to put
Poisons in your food? No, that should be a
Doesn't
criminal.
even make sense.
With
Yeah.
40 being morbidly overweight. That's
I mean, it's one thing that our
unacceptable. There's
federal
no
government
reason for our
should
country to
be
like that.
doing
And I
is
do
making
think
sure
that it
our
has
food
something
is
to
healthy.
do
Like
with
that's
a
like
sedentary lifestyle, yes, but I also think that it's the food we eat and the things that are put into the food. I think that we should get rid of corn subsidies and stop having everything be made with so much sugar. But
Agreed. I do think it's the internet. I think the principal reason why Americans are so fat is the internet. 40.3% of adults are
corn
obese.
syrup. They need to get
That's
that
disturbing
switched.
right there. But
Fatties.
we're late to the game on this, though. My buddy from England came over here and we went to the gas station. He started looking at the different candies and reading the different ingredients. He's like, we don't have this over in England.
Yeah.
We're
It's a
late to the
standard of
game.
living thing. Like, I think most people feel it's about time that we have the same standard of living and standard of health that
The only
European
reason I
countries
think
have.
they've done that overseas
and look,
I don't know
is to
why
keep
that's
them
common
distracted
sense.
from the real
candies in
issues, the
countries.
other
the
important
candies
issues.
in the UK,
It's like a
they're
give and
great.
take
Chocolate
thing.
over there is
So they
awesome.
give them that
Like,
stuff,
it's
that battle to
it's
fight,
actually
and they
better
feel like
for
they've
some
won
reason,
stuff,
chocolate in
and
the
it
UK is
keeps
better
them
than the US.
focused on something else.
Oh, and they
instead
have the
of
one that girls aren't
other
allowed to have.
things.
It could also be they have a different healthcare system over there too, and it's already overwhelmed. So if their people are more sick and more dependent on ADHD meds, Klonopin, like all that stuff because the food's crappy, it's just going to make their medical system even more overwhelmed. So I think
Yeah.
it's possible that they did that as kind of to balance it out because they have their free healthcare shit. And
Well, see, like Russia's like that too, where they make sure the food's healthy and stuff too. And like, I honestly think like Putin actually likes his country. And
well, if your people are pissed off at you all the time, it's not very quiet. So as a leader, it's just in your best interest to make your people like satisfied.
and that's the difference here in America. For
They
a
don't
long
care.
time now, yeah, it hasn't been anybody caring about America. It's just what they can get and take, and it's actually been an underlying thing, like especially since Obama, that they're just trying to destroy it. They're just trying to topple it, and that's all it's
Right.
ever been for
Milk it
so long
and
now.
get rich off of it and then throw it away.
Yep, juice it and destroy it and get rid of it.
Like they don't care. If they become ultra wealthy off of it, they can go live wherever. They don't give a shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, you think fucking Nancy Pelosi gives a flying fuck about anybody in this country?
No.
I don't even think she cares about her own husband.
Oh no, No.
let
she
alone
definitely
any of her
doesn't.
kids or grandkids. She don't give a shit. That kind of person can't. She's narcissistic.
Thank God they have not found Forever Life yet.
Yeah, could you imagine her in an android body?
I just posted
It'd be like on Futurama, with her head in a fucking
in a jar.
jar on top of a robot body.
Wait for
Nah.
Walt Disney to show up. I just posted a thing. You have to go on and check it out. Where they're doing the robots and putting the homegrown or the lab grown brains in them.
That's fun.
Yeah, I keep seeing these stories, and I'm like, we're really gonna go down this path? Like,
Yeah, I saw an article I was gonna post too that they made a T1000 type metal. That
yeah, the liquid metal. Yeah,
I'm like,
really?
why are you guys trying to help? Are you insane?
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, that Terminator movie scares the shit out of me. Hey, let's make
Yeah, let's do it.
Then we can put AI in it and it'll control it. Yeah. I didn't watch much of this at all on anything, so this is new. I saw, or Kate told me about it, that they were throwing tantrums because this jackass Al Green was getting censured, which he deserved.
Yeah.
Friends, I can only describe the Democrats as insane.
Yeah.
As insane.
That's what I said.
This morning, I'm like, maybe I should
That's what I
try
just
and be a
posted
little
on Facebook
nicer.
too when they were all talking about his speech. I'm like,
The Democrats are insane.
What's wrong with you?
Al Green
They're broken.
screamed out during
Trump broke 'em.
address to a joint session of Congress. He was told numerous times to sit
living
down
and dancing
and to be
in their
quiet.
heads every day.
He was disrupting.
They look in the mirror and all they
proceeding,
see
and he
is
refused.
Mhm.
They asked him again, if
He
you don't,
haunts
we're going to
them.
throw you out. They threw the guy out. They now are going to censure him. They did
Yeah,
censure
after they
him.
gave him a
Get
million
this.
chances.
Democrats disrupted the House again as they were censuring Al Green for disrupting.
They're like little
the,
kids,
address
but
from
insane.
Yep.
Frank Luntz said that Trump's speech was manna from heaven for Republicans. And I'll say not just that. The way the Democrats acted gave the Republicans a beautiful gift for the midterms. They can't learn, can they? Fox
No.
News says Dems throw House into chaos after 10 moderates join GOP to punish Al Green. Yo, he's
They will
being
be
censured.
extinct by
Do you
the
guys know
end
what
of
that
this
means?
term.
It means
Yep.
they wiggle their finger at him. That's it. So a bunch of Democrats
And
start
the
protesting.
greatest thing is most
Speaker
of them
Johnson is
leftist
banging the gavel,
Democrat
being like,
elites
order, and they
are
refuse. They
are
refuse.
in the age of
I can't believe it.
going into their hundreds.
They should be
like
expelled.
they've been in there so
Maybe at
long.
least Al
I think
Green.
that's why they're
It's
insane.
performative. Nothing
Yes.
is getting done.
Yeah, they're
I'm-
completely
I'm just so over it. I got to be honest.
deprived of
We send people to
intelligence.
Congress to do a
But then,
job.
like the younger
There
ones, like
is
AOC, I
no
don't know.
legislature.
I think she
There
was
is
dropped
none.
on her head as a baby.
There is only
Oh, she
a
ain't gonna
dog
go
and
nowhere
pony
without.
show.
That's the thing. All them
We
younger
send
ones
people to
aren't
Congress
gonna go anywhere without the
believing
backing of those
in our
older ones.
naivete
Right.
that they're going
And
to actually
all
vote
the
on
older
bills.
ones are on
And
their way
only
out.
A small handful
So
do. Thomas Massey, shout out. Marjorie Taylor Greene, shout out. There's a handful of others that are pretty good.
like
But
because
for
the
most
younger
part,
ones
all they
are
do
like
is spectacle. Al
so
Green stood up
Brain dead.
mindless
Kane
and
at
dumb.
Trump,
Yeah,
not because
and
he
that's why
actually
the older
cared,
ones used
because he
them
wants to get
because they
reelected.
still had a little bit of
He knows
intelligence.
that video will play well
even though it
among
was
his
very, very
die-hard
small,
Trump
but-
derangement syndrome base, and he's going to secure re-election and keep his fake job, where all of them, save only a small handful, are just under the employ of lobbyists. Oh boy. Let me play the video for you, and so you can see. So they did censure this guy. Here's what went down. We got a C-SPAN video. Loading up, 1 second. Any minute now, they're going to start talking. At least I hope so.
By its adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure.
So, real quick, I'm going to go back a second. The reason I minimized the player is so you can see the cluster of Democrats on the left side. When I zoom in, it gets actually blocked out by the frame I have for the show. So I'll go back, but you get the point. Maybe I went too far.
9, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al
You hear
Green
that?
forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure.
They're singing.
And that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker.
The Democrats are all singing right now.
Censor them all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're singing.
That looks like an insurrection to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. I posted this
The
on
House will come to order. The House will come
on my
to order.
Facebook about this. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Like a bunch of frickin'
The House
dumb
will come
kids.
to order. Clear the well.
Yeah,
please.
somebody
Clear the well. The House
commented
has to
Nope,
continue
Democrats
its
are
about
just
it,
singing.
and that they posted interrupting
that
an
AOC?
official proceeding. Last I heard,
No,
that
it's
was
not
a minimum 4 years in
Who is
DC jail with no due process, no access to lawyer, and no visitation by family.
They mute
Yep.
audio again. Oh, what's this?
Pursuant
Facts.
to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Wow. Yo, that's crazy. I'm sick of these people. I am sick
Yeah.
of
Me
these
too.
people.
Lots
I
of
am
people
sick of
are.
This was at 10 in the morning. The Democrats go into the well of the House and start singing. Singing. What did Mike Johnson do? He recessed. Call the sergeant at arms and
And-
lock them all up.
Kick
Yeah.
Throw
them
'em
all
out.
out. Yep.
They're disrupting an official proceeding. Why are we tolerating this? Fox News reports. 10 Democrats joined Republicans in voting for the measure to censure Green. Green himself voted present. Interesting. Along with first-term Rep. Shamari Figures. Al Green's childish outburst exposed the chaos and dysfunction with the Democratic Party since President Trump's overwhelming win in November and his success in office thus far. It is not surprising 198 Democrats refused to support Green's censure, given the history of radical inflammatory rhetoric fueled by the Trump derangement syndrome. Tom Emmett,
Becoming a
Fox
thing
News.
now.
Before the formal censure could be read out to Green, however, Democrats upended the House floor proceedings by gathering with the Texas Democrat and singing "We Shall Overcome." Oh, these people are insane.
My.
Please keep doing it. We are going to
Yeah.
swim through the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
They're nuts. Decorum eroded further afterwards, with several Democrats, including squad member Anna Presley, engaging in a heated exchange with Republicans. The 10 Democrats who voted for the censure, we get it, Republicans raced to introduce competing resolutions to censure Green on Wednesday, with 3 separate texts being drafted. Fox News is told that Rep. Dan Newhouse of Washington, whose resolution got a vote on the floor, reached out to Johnson about a censure resolution immediately after Trump's speech. Yada, yada, we get it. Al Green was screaming, "Yo, this is crazy." Despite my repeated warnings, he refused to cease his antics, and I was forced to remove him from the chamber, Johnson posted on X. He deliberately violated House rules, and an expeditious vote of censure is an appropriate remedy. Any Democrat who is concerned about regaining the trust and respect of the American people should join House Republicans in this effort. Green, who shook Newhouse's hand before speaking during debate on his own censure, stood by his actions on Wednesday. I heard the speaker when he said that I should cease. I did not, and I did not with intentionality. It was not done out of a burst of emotion. It's because he's a scumbag. It's because Al Green's trying to make a video where he gets elected. That's why they're singing "We Shall Overcome." These are not protesters. They're supposed to be professionals. This country is in disarray. I can only hope that something is done, but the system is crumbling before our eyes. We expect members of Congress to go to D.C.
And
vote on
do their
legislation.
fucking jobs.
Now it's just cognitively
Insanity.
impaired individuals
Yeah.
singing songs.
They're
And Mike
all
Johnson,
what's the word? It was in my head and just popped out. When you are not like a protester, but what is the word I'm looking for? You know, like the they go out and champion for causes and stuff.
I was just thinking of the word champion for.
I can't. I don't know why my brain just memory hold that word. But yeah, they're not anarchists, but I mean they are causing anarchy. I'll think of it. This is getting crazy too.
man said the word civil
What
war in
the
5
f-
minutes. But I was looking at the
Oh,
news. Was
jeez.
looking at the story. We put up the segment at 3 about
Like,
Democrats.
why are you so
obstructing
mad?
war. We have more obstructions in Congress than we've ever seen. We have more threats of violence than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's
Elon
getting
Musk,
close
as a government
to
employee, is
pushing us
getting,
close to a
death
civil
threats,
war.
and people
For
are
sure.
shooting up and trying to plant bombs at Tesla facilities. We got a couple new reports that Tesla charging stations are getting vandalized, and several have been intentionally set ablaze. Not to mention that Donald Trump, in his run for the presidency, was nearly assassinated, and there were a couple other plots that nearly were enacted, with one Ukrainian zealot, one American who was a zealot for Ukraine, almost killing Trump, but being spotted by Secret Service. We have this story from the New York Post. Troll arrested for threatening to gut Elon Musk and parade his corpse through the streets. It's from
Why?
over a week ago.
What
And
was
then
his
we have
Getting
this
reason?
story
sicker.
from CBS News. Massachusetts Tesla charging stations intentionally set on fire, investigators believe, from a couple days ago. It's getting worse. And, I was thinking about this because we've seen numerous stories of they shot up a Tesla location, shot it up. There was an individual, a trans person, who was arrested for trying to plant bombs at a location.
Oh my.
You had that individual a couple years ago posting the location of Elon's private jet. We are beyond civil strife.
Mhm.
Now, we can say we're in some kind of civil war, but I think it's always the forest and the trees, as they say. I like to go back to the American Civil War the first time with Bleeding Kansas. Periods of civil strife are the precursor to civil war, and that is when there is widespread violence, vandalism, for political reasons. We had a Rudyard Lynch from What If Alt History on Timcast IRL. He predicted 1,000 would be dead by April. It's only 3 weeks away. I don't think it's going to happen.
You
That
don't
being
know.
said, we are seeing a dramatic escalation in threats of violence,
Well,
death threats,
the
and
the
extreme
one
vandalism.
Asian
And this
lady
means
said that.
it's
I mean,
crazy
there's
stuff.
still
There have been numerous reports
suicide
that
bombers
Tesla
here.
vehicle
Like,
owners have had their cars vandalized. They've parked their cars in certain areas.
As they
come
shut
out,
down all
people
this
beat
funding
up,
for
spray
Dems,
paint
they're going to
them,
get
saying
even
F
more
Elon, things
desperate.
like this.
oh yeah.
Others
Yep.
have been putting stickers or magnets on their cars saying, "I bought it before Elon went
How
crazy."
desperate is
It's
China
because
getting
these
to
people live in a
when they're
terroristic
watching
hell zone.
Russia start
When you are
making deals
surrounded in
with
an urban
President
environment by
Trump and he's
terrorists threatening
gaining
you, you have to put up signs
other
saying, "Please
countries
don't hurt me."
joining him
They
and
do it in
turning away
Oakland,
from Ukraine
California.
and everything.
They don't do it in West Virginia because we all have guns. And anybody who tries to commit acts of terror, well, people here defend themselves. But the news is pretty crazy. Take a look at this. Massachusetts Tesla charging stations intentionally set on fire, from CBS News. They say at this point it does appear that it was a set fire. It happened around Monday at 1 a.m. The Point Shopping Center on Constitution Ave in Littleton. The charging stations are located close to several businesses, including the tavern and the Square restaurant and a Market Basket grocery store. What we are seeing now is acts of terrorism. I think any sane person can recognize this. Mass vandalism against electric vehicles? Thought these people were concerned about climate change.
Environmentally friendly.
No, they're cult members.
Yep.
And Elon Musk, it doesn't matter if he's saving the environment, they're cult members. He's not. The Littleton Police Department said the charging stations were engulfed in flames with heavy dark smoke when they arrived. Power was eventually shut down in the area, but while crews were waiting for electric department to arrive, another charging station caught fire. The electricity is one of our bigger issues that we're dealing with in making sure that not only the public but the firefighters are safe. Littleton Police and Fire Departments in Massachusetts State Fire and Explosive Investigation Unit attached to the State Fire Marshal's office are investigating and have determined that the fire appears to be intentionally set. This is crazy. Look at this. Destroying charging locations. Tesla products have been the targets of vandalism in recent weeks in several states. Tesla CEO Elon Musk endorsed Trump. We get it. It's not going to make any difference to Elon Musk. You're only harming society. You're only harming the people who actually use these charging stations, said Tesla driver Zahir Calvert. Someone could have got hurt, right? Someone could have got burned. Someone could have died. That's what is the real problem. A Massachusetts man told WBZ-TV he had been threatened because he drives a gold Cybertruck made by Tesla. Someone put a profane sticker on his vehicle. And when he posted a photo of it on social media, the man told the police he started getting threats online. Over the weekend in Maryland, graffiti was found at a Tesla dealership a day after nearly 300 protesters gathered outside the business to protest Musk and his push to slash government spending. Police said the graffiti said "No Musk" with a sign that resembles a swastika. In northern Colorado last month, police arrested a suspect who had been wanted for allegedly placing incendiary devices at a Tesla dealership. That investigation began in January when the dealership was vandalized and devices were found on the scene. It's only getting worse. This story from Vernon Morning Star. Someone deliberately ruined Tesla charging station in Osoyoos. Is that how you pronounce it? Osoyoos? Is that how you pronounce it? They put spray foam in the Tesla chargers so that nobody could use them. We know what this is about. Democrats are increasingly embracing violence, and don't take it from me. Adam Conover was on a podcast, I'm assuming it's his, where he spoke with this woman who said this.
A lot of women who had basically knitted these, they did the same pussy design in red, white, and blue. And they're like, this is American. Resistance is American. And I was like, you know what, ladies? I love it, right? So that was great to see. But what I also asked these people, and these are like, your middle-aged, engaged people, most of them. And I'm highly educated. And I asked them, this question that we adapted from a national survey. And the question was, to what degree do you agree or disagree with this statement that political violence may be necessary to protect democracy? And a third of the people at the People's March said they agreed or strongly agreed with that statement, which is a huge shift from what we have seen. Back during the American Values Survey, the last time they fielded it, was only 8% of Democrats. And let me just say, at the People's March, it was 93% of the people in the crowds voted for Kamala Harris. So these are Democrats.
Yeah.
And they are starting to shift their opinion. So that's the thing I'm worried
Good
about.
luck with that, because you're going to get stormed.
I'm saying there are enough people who are starting to feel threatened.
First off, there's not enough of them.
They don't eat enough red meat. They don't have enough testosterone. They don't have enough guns. They're cowardly.
At the People's March said they agreed that they should use violence.
Everything is against them.
Protect democracy.
As Trump would say, they don't have the cards.
Do you think any one of these people are going to shed a tear if something bad happens to Elon Musk? Of course they won't. Or Donald Trump? These people were going online and celebrating Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO assassination. They're going online and advocating for assassination. One woman said that she wanted bad things. I'm keeping it very light, but she threatened the life of Elon Musk, and she may get a visit from the federal investigators. They're not going to stop. And I get it. I do. They're a cult. Their ideas are bad, and they are losing. We are rational moderates. Some lean left, some lean right. Some are much more staunch conservative. Some are actually a little bit liberal, like RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard. So we have a coalition of reason and differing views, and they have a cult that is losing. But I get it. Their worldview is being destroyed because it's busted, and there's nothing left for them. Their arguments have failed. So what happens when your words don't work? They now begin to advocate for violence, physical attacks, physical disruptions, and they're doing it. Burning down Tesla stations, trying to plant bombs at dealerships, shooting up Tesla dealerships. These are just car dealerships. And as we read, one man saying he received threats for simply driving a Cybertruck. This is going to get worse. And this is the concern that we had. So maybe Rudyard was a little bit too far on one end in his prediction for 1,000 deaths. I think there's like 40 or 50 politically motivated deaths in the past 4 months, which is kind of crazy. But that is kind of a stretch. Directly motivated political killings in the streets are like maybe 20, which is still kind of crazy, right? Nowhere near
one good
but I wonder,
explosive from some crazy person
could government get a handle on this.
Yeah.
You've got that breaking news at the top of this article. It says Trump is expected to sign an executive order abolishing the Department of Education. These people are nuts. They're going to keep escalating, and the violence will get worse. So where does it leave us? Man, I hope y'all are prepared. You know, I've been warning about some kind of civil war for a while. You have Ray Dalio. You have many other prominent individuals warning that right now we're in some kind of civil war.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that we are in civil strife, but many people see these as the same thing in that It's the early stages of a civil war. Not all civil strife becomes war.
No,
The civil rights
but
movement was civil strife, no civil war.
if you look at, you compare what happened, because the first Civil War took a decade to get started. And then even when it got started, people, like Tim Pool made it an example, like people were still out having picnics and stuff while gunfire was going on, and they still didn't believe the Civil War was started. So we are in the 10th year since this craziness started. It started right, or maybe just a little bit before 2015, but when Trump decided he was going to run as the Republican candidate for president, that's when shit went off the rails. And it's not stopped since. It has not stopped at all. It's only gotten worse and crazier. And this is 2025. So, and it's been 200 some years since the first Civil War. It's like, you know, it's more likely than not. And then you add into, like, in the first Civil War, they were getting rid of the slaves, which was hurting the South's economy because they relied on them. And so their money was going away. Now you have Trump dismantling the fraud, waste, abuse, money laundering that funds their stuff going away. It's a parallel. It's definitely on the horizon.
Especially because there's a lot of big players that don't like the way things are going. Who have
Right.
the money to fund nasty things. And nasty ass UN.
Right.
China. Yeah, China's the one who runs the damn UN too.
Yeah, at this point, there's outside forces that now want to encourage our destruction.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, when look at everything that Biden and Obama promised people on the outside, and now they're not holding up to what they promised. So things are gonna have to be. It's gonna come to a boiling point.
What's up, everyone? Jeremy here
see what
from
this is
the
about.
Quartering, and the new strange reaction or strange policy that Walmart has rolled out to deal with woke city management. The problem of woke city management has basically made the retail experience unshoppable for normal people who aren't there to steal stuff. Woke mayors, governors, city council people, sheriffs, and all these people have now created a situation where normal law-abiding citizens have to live in a prison colony because nobody wants to deal with the very real problem of retail theft. Look, I live right outside of Milwaukee. Every single day it's in the news. Smash and grabs, shoplifting, this, that, and the other thing. You know why? It's because police don't put these people in jail. And woke dorks keep telling me that shoplifting doesn't actually hurt anybody. Well, this is a lie that the left has been telling forever. And it's curious. I never see looters and people who are doing these smash and grabs stealing bread. They're almost never stealing bread. They're almost always stealing expensive things that they can resell.
Yeah, it ain't
And
survival
now
things like
Walmart
food.
finally puts their
Right.
foot
Can
down.
you eat
Every
iPhones?
other customer, the
Yeah.
99.5% of people who don't
Like,
go to
I
Walmart to
think
steal
I'd be a
things
little
have to
sympathetic
deal
if I
with
saw
this
somebody
crap.
running.
And it's absurd.
Remember, what was that movie
This
with
is why they're going to accelerate
Sylvester
their
Stallone,
complete
Demolition Man?
collapse.
Basically,
across the
he sees they're
country.
stealing
Take a
food, so he's
Right.
just like, "Oh,
By
whatever,
the
let's
way,
go."
Yeah, they're actually
huge
stealing
shout out
food.
to everyone who's helping me
Yeah.
get launched over on
That's one
Amazon.
thing. But
What
like,
Or
I
maybe even
desperately
hygiene
need
products or
is
something,
for
you know,
people
like,
to
but not the stuff that they
Walmart
actually
shopper
are
tries to pick up
stealing. Like,
body wash, and then she sees Walmart's new security feature. I want to go to the video of this first because it is bonkers.
What? What is happening? I don't know, it's weird. It's just
You can't even buy deodorant.
Maybe people are stealing them or something.
Yes, they are. People are
So
stealing.
weird.
Yeah.
Thank you for shopping at Walmart.
Or like last year, there was videos of people like
Licking ice cream.
no, not licking ice cream, but like they were taking detergent, like clothes detergent, and like taking and filling up the empty space with like what was out of another bottle, and then putting it back on the shelf. Like what? Like they don't understand shipping for one thing. They have to leave air in there because bottles expand and contract.
Pressures, yeah.
And plus, when you look on the bottle, it says you're purchasing X amount of ounces, and that's what's in the bottle. It's not you're buying the bottle and it should be full to the brim. No. You're buying what, like 20,
That
30,
amount.
40 ounces of whatever it is in there, and that's what they put in there. So, like, retards are going to retard. I mean...
Especially when, I mean, if they don't know math, it doesn't, it ain't
or
gonna matter.
understand how anything in this world works, then yeah, you have people like that. But this here, like this lady's complaining about them putting extra security measures in a blue area. Unless she's Republican, she voted for that shit. Like
She live under a rock. She doesn't.
Right.
She hasn't seen the stores that are just mauled by these freaking idiots.
Thieves.
I think it's not supposed to stop you from taking it, but it's supposed to make you think that somebody's around. Of course, wokies.
Well, even in our Walmarts here, they have like in the makeup aisle. It's funny. As soon as you walk in the aisle, there's that camera that turns on and bright lights light up and says you're being recorded.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. As soon as you walk in, it's like it's hanging up there and it's got a screen showing you being recorded, and it lights up with lights saying, it detected your motion in the aisle and you're being recorded. And it's only in the makeup aisle. That's telling.
The woke dorks who don't understand shoplifting say it's because Walmart doesn't want to hire staff. Excuse me, I worked at Walmart. You could hire 100 people. They're not stopping shoplifters. In fact, when I worked there, and I'm pretty sure this is
I think you know what he's going to say. They have loss prevention, and you're told not to interfere.
Rule at every Walmart. You aren't allowed to stop shoplifters.
Yeah.
Even if they're walking out the front door with a brand new PS5 and you're me and you're 6'5", 300 pounds, you cannot touch that person. You will be fired. That's Walmart's own stupid, idiotic policies.
Well, it sounds idiotic. It kind of is on its face, but I understand there's legal issues. Like, if you interfere with them and you get hurt, then they're liable for that. Or if you interfere with them and that person opens fire and kills a bunch of people, then you're a cause to that. So,
or if you mistakenly accuse somebody, or
right,
even if you, it's just not a good situation. Like the Ghetto Mart here, they got their security service and now have a constable there every night. Because I mean, like, I can only imagine.
I'm laughing because like we'll do that for a store, but we won't do that for a school.
I know.
And it's like that meme that's going around now about these crazy leftist teachers that are like, we're going to defy ICE, we're going to block the doors, we're going to fight them. Like, why didn't you do that with the school shooters?
Yeah, you can stop the ICE officers who are geared up to the teeth, and 1,000 of them. You think you're going to stop them, but you don't want to try to stop a school shooter.
Right. They're insane. They're morally bankrupt, and they're
have
just
no
not good
actual
people.
experience in
Right.
anything. Yeah.
These people do these smash and grabs. Police never sentence them to anything, so they just come back the next week. In a viral video, TikToker Jamie Cody,
A lot of
don't
them
really
are
care,
kids too.
showed her
Groups of
viewers
kids.
when she tried
Right.
to buy body wash. She called the new security measures weird. Many agreed that they're unsettling. In the clip, Jamie had to lift a plastic door to access body wash. When she
Oh,
did, an
geez.
alarm went off. What's happening? She asked while filming. She also noted that some products were shelved behind security doors while others weren't. It's weird. It's just certain products. Well, it's the ones that local
Are
youths
mostly
are stealing.
yeah.
That's what it is. Other products in nearby shelves are not behind the same security doors. Recently, the Daily Dot reported in another viral video that also showed additional security measures taken to protect Walmart. In that video, a TikToker at a Walmart had Dove body wash under lock and key. Look at this. Look at that.
Not playing with y'all. I asked homegirl if I could get the soap. She gonna put this in this freaking container and say, "Oh, take it to the checkout."
Yeah. By the way, that wouldn't stop you.
No,
gonna
but it'll
steal
set
it.
off the alarm
But
if
do
you try to
really-
leave the
like,
store with
why
it.
do you think they're doing this?
Had to run
5
into the
years
car.
ago, they were not putting body wash behind lock and key. Now, at most convenience stores, even the Snap or the iced tea and stuff like that is
Mhm.
behind lock and key. It's because woke government and woke city managers and people like Hassan Piker and the Young Turks keep saying that, oh, these people are just stealing because they need food.
Then
We're all
why aren't they
starving
stealing
to death.
food?
Are they eating soap? I don't know. This is the thing. This is, by the way, everywhere. It's very brazen. Retail workers and shoplifters in the UK record theft, have record.
Oh, I bet
theft
it's
statistics.
rampant there because the
there.
police
You know
there
why
don't even
that
carry
is? Because
guns.
there's no consequence to the theft. If there was consequence, these people wouldn't be doing it. I mean, sure, a few people would, but most people wouldn't.
That
In
and
observations that are backed up
there's
by
a
British
clear
Retail
correlation
Consortium's crime survey.
between
Gee, I wonder if it has anything to
this
do with
type
being
of Muslim
invaded by
immigrants
a foreign
moving into
force.
these areas and
Retail
crime.
theft increased
Like
Mhm.
it
25%
just
Oh yeah, there was.
it
in
is.
2020.
I have a video in my history. I was watching. There was a girl. She was doing she was, I don't think she was streaming, maybe doing like a TikTok or something at a club, and in the UK, and a migrant, illegal, I'm assuming, came up behind her and just started groping her and grabbing her, and she's like looking like terrified because like there's some strange dude just grabbing up on her private parts and stuff and pulling on her, and like, well, you get what you voted for.
Yeah. And a lot of the courts say, well, that's their lifestyle and that's what they've known. Well, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean shit. They moved to a different country that did not
Right.
accept stuff like that. So, I
They're
mean,
trying to impose their beliefs and
life, yeah.
on a area that doesn't believe that way. Yeah.
That's why I keep
Three to
posting
2000.
too. Like, the Bible talks about the 200 million man army, and the two major religions in the world is Christianity and Islam. And look at how many Islams are being spread throughout the world. Obama has, from his presidency, he helped distribute them throughout the world with tons of our taxpayer cash and everything. And look at how many they flooded into the U.S. in the past few years.
Right.
And now they're having, in the Congo, they executed a whole bunch of Christians, and they're going after Christianity. In China, they're doing it. And all kinds of other places. And then even in London, they're, I think you've seen that with Andrew Tate, how he was talking about them making one of the oldest places in London, the center of London, into a mosque. Like,
Mhm.
like people have to start seeing like what's really going on. Like, and look at that Pope too. And everybody's seen that. He wanted to approve Islam over Catholic when he was the Pope, and then accept the gay lifestyle and every other sin, and then he starts screaming about demons coming and getting him. So
Yeah, I have no empathy.
24. On the year before, to more than 20 million incidents, the highest on record since they began recording it in 2003. Don't you know, isn't it funny? That's how far society has fallen. You used to not have to, like, there's a
That correlates also with the ban on firearms.
Mm-hmm.
A disarmed society is a pushover society. Like that, you can't. There's nothing you can do about anything that happens to you.
No.
You can bitch and moan and complain, but your freedom to speak, it only goes as far as how far you can violently defend it. And if you can't violently defend it, whoever owns the
Political offices.
well,
basically.
not the political offices, but owns the damn it, I'm not being very articulate tonight. Whoever has the oh, has control over the violence, they will be able to enforce whatever they want. So
Yeah, the tougher, more violent groups.
there's a word. Can't think of it at the moment. I don't know. I must be tired. But anyway, yeah.
Which is kind of funny though that the citizens there, like, because those police are pushovers. Like, well, who enforces those police officers who don't carry any guns and stuff? Like, they showed the video where they came into the lady's home or the guy's home and were arresting him for his comments on Facebook and stuff. Like, what if you're just
monopoly?
Like,
that's the word.
oh.
Whoever has the
On
monopoly
violence.
on violence, yeah.
Yeah, and they
Can-
use it
can do
through
whatever they want.
political stuff too. They use it to guide everything, and
Right. But like you were saying, yeah, getting arrested for posting a meme goes to show you that they're not afraid to violate your First Amendment because you have no Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm. But I just don't understand why they even listen. I mean, the criminals don't listen to them, so like.
Well, that is synonymous. That is the same reason why they gave up their guns.
Mm-hmm. They follow
because they are
blindly.
afraid to use violence constructively to defend themselves. So we have that, and thought I saw something else here. Hold on. Oh yeah. Where'd that go?
What's this?
Whoop. It's on the wrong screen. Asmongold has been getting based. I'm shocked, but
so for the Irish American people, proclamation.
What is this? Free potatoes? I'm part Irish.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Is that supposed to be on this screen?
Your envoy Steve Witkoff told us a little while ago that.
Do you not see it?
No.
Hold on. Try now. You can see it all now? Okay.
If Hamas does not release hostages, that the U.S. and Israel could take some action. What does that mean in your eyes? Is that military
Blow
action?
them up.
Would you join
That's what he's
strikes
going to
with
do.
You're going to find out.
You're going to find out.
I had the honor of spending a lot of time yesterday with
So fuck around and find out.
quite a few of the people that we got out, and I can't believe how badly treated they were.
So he
Really
just
badly
decided after.
stories that you wouldn't even believe. Some of it was documented. Some of it was so bad you couldn't really, I don't think you can put it on. And it's a shame. And they said one thing, that they have 59 hostages, of which many of them are killed.
Damn.
They want to know if we could just
I thought they treated the hostages well.
They said without us, look, Biden wasn't able to get anybody out. We came along and they started releasing. But we have 59 left, of which 24 are living. The rest are dead. And I put out.
It's because they're showing his hands.
Sort of self-explanatory, I think. But somebody's going to have to get a lot rougher than they're getting. It's a shame. And those 24 that are living, because they were with them just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when they got out. But they said they're in very bad shape.
You spoke today with your cabinet members and Elon Musk.
I did.
What did you tell them in regards to Elon Musk and his authorities to carry out actions?
We had a great meeting. We had Elon and we had some of the representatives for the business reps. We also had most of the cabinet members, not all of them. It doesn't really pertain to all of them, but many of them. And I thought it was a really good meeting. It was about cutting because everybody knows the country's way out of control in terms of the number of people. We have many people that don't work. We have many people probably that aren't even living that are getting checks.
He's going to bring out the list.
And it's being reported. We're going to save hundreds of billions of dollars. We've already saved a lot. And parts of it are contracts that are expired that we're paying on. Many crazy things that, you can see it happening. It shouldn't happen, but you can see it happening. You see a lot of it being put out. But the other thing I think most important for today, I want the cabinet members to keep good people. I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of good people are cut.
Yeah.
I want the cabinet members to keep the good people and the people that aren't doing a good job, that are unreliable.
So we keep the good people and get rid of the bad people.
Right.
So I had a meeting. And I said, I want the cabinet members go first. Keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks.
Smart.
Because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But
this is why he's the president.
The best job they can. When we have good people, that's precious. That's very important. And we want them to keep the good people. And so we're going to be watching them. And Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
Cutting either way.
No, I think they've done an amazing job. They've done an amazing job, and look at what they found. I read it the other night in the speech. I mean, they found these things where billions of dollars has been poured down the drain.
They need to give that money to me.
That's not about people. That's about contracts where billions and billions of dollars was just thrown out the window. It probably got kickbacks. I'm sure there were tremendous kickbacks for the people that authorized those contracts. But no, Elon has been really teaching everybody about
the transgender mice,
the numbers that you can do. But what I
support
want is I want the numbers,
mice.
but I also want to keep
I think that's
the
good
people.
research.
We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up,
Hot take.
and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon. And I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to for the sake of our country. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat.
Yeah.
And like nobody's ever seen before. Where you need 20,000 and they have 120,000
That's
people.
a lot.
And you just don't need that many. And it happens with companies and it happens with governments, I guess. You could go to a lot of governments, you'd see the same thing. But we're trying to get it down.
Trim the fat.
We want to be able, next year, we could balance the budget. I think there's a good chance we could balance the budget next year. We have a lot of good things happening. Plus, we have a lot of revenue things happening, like
the
today
gold
with
card.
the shipbuilding.
What about the gold card?
This gentleman behind me is going to create a lot of jobs. And he's about the biggest there is in the world. We had the biggest chip maker
That's
in
why
the
they
world
created
here
so much
a few days ago.
issue
He's gonna be
too
spending
economically for
$200 billion
people
on
because the
building
more people were worried
plants. We're
about
not
it,
giving him
can
any
I
money
afford this
building
loaf of bread or this thing of milk? You know what I mean? You keep people distracted like that, and look at how long it kept people from even wondering where our tax money was going or even questioning it. Or
Well, like I said, that was, you do that over a century, it becomes natural. Like they normalized it. I hate that fucking word. They normalized abnormality, and it's insane.
There always being a struggle. Over like 8 years of Obama, like people really do not realize how much
that destroyed our country.
Yeah, and manipulated everything. They tweaked stuff like ridiculous.
We went straight from being gathered up in a united front against terrorism to the shittiest life ever. Well, until Biden came along.
And fought the wars in Iraq and everything to just
Hating
basically
police,
handing everything.
divided, struggling, just terrible.
Oh yeah, the war on police was definitely he definitely did all that. Definitely did all that.
Yeah, he made everything shitty.
You know, it's the CHIP Act is ridiculous. Where
that's huge, though. The TSMC.
Billions of dollars to people that have nothing but money. They're not going to spend that money. They're just taking that money. We're giving nothing. They're coming in because of the tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs, and they're opening up big. So, but with respect to people, I said I want to cut the people, but I want to keep the good people.
Tariffs, sir, can you walk us through the next steps on this? Steel and aluminum tariffs are due to kick in next week on Canada, Mexico, and every other country. Are those going to be modified as well?
No, those are modified. Those are happening next week. And the big one will be on April 2nd when reciprocal tariffs. So if India or China or any of the countries that really, India is a very high tariff nation. I'll tell you what's a high tariff nation is Canada. Canada charges us 250% for our milk product and other product. And
wait, he saw the TikTok.
On lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber.
He saw.
So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees.
Yeah.
Also, we're cutting fire divides. A fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out.
No more trees.
And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. So, but we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need.
We got our own trees.
Energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So,
damn.
Where we can be self-sustaining, which is in most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive, massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly so that we don't have to go to other countries to buy lumber. Why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices, and we have lumber. We have the best lumber. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. The EPA was a tool used to make it so that we had to buy certain things from other countries in order to equalize.
Well, they never did anything down at Erie Coke, I'll tell you that, because we would just wait until nighttime and they couldn't see the smoke off the lake. So, like, there was always a way to get around it. And then the owner, the inspector would come in. Every single time he came, he'd have a bottle of Jack Daniels there for him every time, and he would drink it while he was inspecting the place the whole way.
That's typical. Yeah, because all their job is to do is, like, they have their checklist to look busy, but it's only like, okay, like, let's say Canada needs to sell more trees this year, so let's block off more forests and say this is a protected sanctuary. And then we have to get more lumber from Canada. Yeah. It's fucking retarded. Oh, and did you see that in one of the Carolinas? I think it's South Carolina. South Carolina? I'll have to look it up. There's a forest fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was strange. It looks reminiscent of California.
Well, it's kind of crazy, too, that they really don't mention California at all anymore.
No. Yeah, it went onto the news cycle, but when I went to LA and we tried to go to Huntington Beach, you couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. It was smoke. Like, we were driving, everything was clear and sunny, and then as we got closer to the beach, it just all of a sudden, boom. Like, we were like, oh, what's going on? Is that still the smoke from the fires? Like, it wasn't fog, because it's not like it's not like just that section of the city is fog. Like, no, it's and it smelled like burning wood. So
That's crazy.
Modification short term because I didn't want to.
Nobody
hurt
knows
the
more about
American-
lumber than him.
It would have hurt the American car companies if I did.
Damn. All right.
Sort of exemption or clause for the auto tariffs you're talking about next month.
We're not looking at that now.
You're not
No, we're not looking at that. No, no.
The best lumber. That's crazy.
TPS for the Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.
What about it?
Are you considering revoking the TPS status for the more than 200,000 Ukrainians who live here in the
There's
U.S.?
200,000 Ukrainians
What
here?
are you
Holy
saying?
shit.
Yeah, the Ukrainians that are here in the
Yeah,
U.S. They're under a TPS status.
On GPS?
TPS, temporary status.
Oh, I thought you said GPS.
TPS.
Yeah.
There was some news saying that they were going to be revoked and they were going to be deported from the country. Are you considering that for the
Well, we're not looking to hurt anybody, and we're certainly not looking to hurt them. And I'm looking at that, and there were some people that think that's appropriate, and some people don't. And I'll be making a decision pretty soon. Okay?
President Trump
But
said-
we're not looking to hurt them,
President Trump said-
especially Ukrainians. They've gone through a lot. Yeah, Peter.
Yeah.
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings time?
Okay, are you ready? This should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's very much, it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people
Get
like
rid
it
of it.
one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case, what else do we have to do?
And I got to ask, because you were talking about this in your joint address, you were talking about Butler. It's been 7 months. Why do you think we don't know more about the guy who shot you in the ear?
Yeah, oh well, and the second one with all of his cell phones. So I want to find the answers. I've told them.
That's a good question.
In fact, today I said I want to find. We can no longer blame Biden for that one.
Can they put
He should have
tariffs on the
released that a long
sun?
time ago. So they are giving me a report next week sometime, and
Oh, that's
I do
already planned.
believe I'll be releasing. I want to release the report. A lot of people have asked that question. You had one who had
So true.
3 apps, 2 of which were foreign, supposedly. And
What does
who
that
has
mean?
the biggest white shoe law firm in Pennsylvania, even though they don't live in necessarily a white shoe area. What's that all about?
What about the
It's
Epstein report?
You know,
Yeah,
the law
true.
firm. The other one had 7 or 6 cell phones, and I don't have 6 cell phones. And why would somebody have 6 cell phones? So we're going to
I
be
know why.
releasing a report on that soon.
How many of you guys know why?
Based on what you're saying right there, the lack of information and the data points that you just gave, does that make
Yeah.
you think that there's some part of a...
Yeah, I wonder
Well,
why.
it could be. Well, it makes other people think that. It makes me think it a little bit too. I say, when you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say
One for
why.
each girlfriend?
I would say that could be suspicious. And then on the second assassin, you had, you know, and by the way, I have to tell you, Secret Service did a great job on that by spotting him. But on the second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So, yeah, I want to find out, and I would be willing to release it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't, so I don't want to get too far ahead of
you don't know.
my skis, but yeah, I would be very willing to release that. I'd like to see it. I want to see it myself, Peter. Not only you, I want to see that one myself.
Yeah, obviously, several of them were burners.
Yesterday said that France
Yeah.
was ready to offer its nuclear protection to other European countries. What do you make of it? And in this case, would the
whose
US
phones
also
did they
maintain
go
a
to, you
nuclear
know?
umbrella for
Right.
European countries?
I mean,
Well,
obviously,
France is
they
also
probably
willing
use
to put
burners
soldiers
too, but
into
there might
Ukraine
be a
for
way.
safety reasons if we can get it. I will say that we've made a lot of progress with Ukraine and a lot of progress with Russia over the last couple of days.
I'll believe it when I see
bring
it.
that to an end, so we don't have to talk that way about nuclear. It'd
Yeah.
be great if everybody would get rid of their nuclear weapons. You know, we have Russia and us have by far the most. China will have an equal amount within 4 or 5 years.
I'm of two minds on that issue, because it's like the saying goes, whoever carries the biggest stick, you keep your enemies at bay. But if we got rid of all the nukes, on the front side, that's good. On the hind side, that means wars are going to be fought more traditionally. So you're going to have massive people getting killed. And more wars will start, because now you've gotten rid of the reason why they don't go to war, is the fear of being bombed out of existence.
Yeah, it's not a deterrent anymore.
Right.
It would be great if we could all denuclearize, because the power of nuclear weapons is crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I was very far along a process with Russia.
True.
Despite the Russia
That shit is
hoax,
great.
which didn't make it easy. It was a total hoax, a total rigged hoax.
Oh,
by
yeah.
some bad people.
Which
But
one?
Despite that, I was very close to having a program with Russia, denuclearization, and we were going to get China. I spoke to President Xi about it, and he would have been very happy to have gone along with it.
The thing is, like, how are you sure that they got rid of it? Because people hide shit all the time, especially shit that's important to them. So I don't trust China. I don't trust any of them, because they'll be like, yeah, we got rid of our nukes. Well, meanwhile, deep underground in a bunker, they've got either an assembled one or 2 or 10, or they're like ready to assemble in minutes and can launch. So, yeah, there's no way to get rid of them unless you get rid of all the uranium and plutonium on the Earth. And just even just putting it in space isn't going to protect, because they'll just launch. They'll be like, oh, we're making a new space program to go out and land on an asteroid. Meanwhile, they're harvesting the uranium that they need to make bombs. So, yeah, at this point, it's out of the genie's out of the bottle. The only thing we can do is make sure that we have enough, whatever that number is, to ensure that other countries are too afraid to do stupid shit.
That's the only thing. Now that it's out of the bag, it's better that people have them and not use them, and they're just there as deterrents, because as long as somebody else has them, most likely the others won't use them, because it'll just be the end of everything. So
right.
You guys would probably like Metal Gear.
Used to play that in the day.
Well, the last game in the series, Rising, is actually pretty ironic. Senator Armstrong makes this empowered speech at the end of the game, and a lot of things that he said have been mirrored by Trump. Senator Armstrong was the first person that I have heard to make the phrase, "I will make America great again." And that was in 2012.
Wow.
I remember, I don't think I played the last one, last 2 or something like that. I don't remember how many there was, but I remember the original ones.
Well, no, Metal Gear Solid 1 was basically a digital essay on nuclear awareness. And literally you find out they're building this nuclear-powered weapon, and you get into this discussion with an arms manufacturer. I thought we were supposed to be disarming. And the arms manufacturer's like, are you really that naive? Once everybody else has the weapon, you have to have the weapon too, and you have to have the better weapon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just a fact of. If you could go back throughout history, back before firearms, and what did you see? If people had swords, you had swords. You had bigger swords. Yeah. That's why, like, through medieval times, swords went from this long to this long, and then you had freaking gigantic swords that they were carrying because they wanted to extend the reach. Like, you can't claim to be intelligent and not see that that's how things are. I mean, it's as long as human beings are around, you will always have somebody that gets jealous, that greedy, or just simply is insane and wants to see everybody die. Like, as long as we have emotions and our DNA is not perfect, you're never getting rid of violence. You're never getting rid of death from someone's hand. You're never going to get rid of it. It's always going to be around. The only thing you can do is fortify yourself against it.
There, I found the weapons manufacturer's speech, and I'll send you guys the other one from Armstrong.
Where did you?
I private messaged it to you guys.
Ah, okay. I heard the message thing. There you go. I see it.
I kind of question how appropriate it would be with a real world thing that's going on. It's also those speeches can get very long.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I want to attempt to try to stream it on YouTube because I'll probably get yeah, they would probably frown on that. I did find the video I was talking about with the let me see. Whoops. Still getting the hang of this, sorry. Okay.
A video of an incident that reportedly took place in a
You see
London
it?
nightclub has gone viral.
Yeah.
She looks utterly terrified. Which begs the question, who the hell is filming it and why didn't they intervene?
Yeah.
Bit weird. I don't know what's more disturbingly cringe, his behaviour towards women or his dance moves. After the clip garnered 30 million views on X alone, women in Western countries related how they appear to have become familiar with such encounters.
Any country that's been invaded by South Asians know that it's just not really safe to go out to bars anymore. I mean, unless you want to get groped, stalked, harassed by international students, it's
Or
probably better to
murdered.
stay home. But seriously, what do you expect when you import millions of people from a country that has an actual rape culture? It's gotten so bad that about 2 years ago in Vancouver, they literally had to put up signs in the bars telling people not to grope others or they would be receiving double the
That's if
fine
they read English.
Vancouver bars. I feel like if we have to put up signs to tell people not to grope women, maybe we just shouldn't be letting them into the country.
But others seem to reserve
she's
most
been
of their anger for
red-pilled.
people who brought race into it. All the racists in the comments like, white men never harass, grope anyone, fuck off. I fucking despise that some men only pretend to give a shit about the harassment and assault of women when they feel they can use it to be racist. I find it kind of weird that a lot of men are mentioning the fact that he's Indian as a major point and not the fact that he's literally harassing her. Like, y'all are focusing on the wrong part. Or if he is Indian, and the consensus seems to be that he is, it is a major point because India is the rape capital of the world.
India is known as the rape capital of the world.
A place where on average one woman reports a rape every 15 minutes. If India is the most dangerous country in the world to be a woman, wouldn't importing large numbers of Indian men to Western countries put women at more risk? The UK
No, they don't. That doesn't correlate in their damaged brains.
253,000, over 250,000 Indians in a single year alone.
Wow.
More Indians migrated to the UK in 2023 than the number of Poles born in Poland. We also imported 493,000 Indians in just 2 years between 2022 and 2024, more than the population of Liverpool, on top of the 1.9 million ethnic Indians who already lived here at the time. Since 2021, more than 1 million Indians have arrived in the UK. Female tourists who visit India, despite being encouraged to do so by the travel media on their own, quite often have their experience marred by perverts who don't even appear to care that their behaviour's being recorded.
No, I'm not taking my hand off! No, I'm not taking my hand off! Hell no! Stop it! No! No! I am taking my hand on!
import vast numbers of men from a country
What
where
the-
respect for women isn't exactly high on the agenda. Women start to experience higher instances of sexual harassment and assault. Some kind of connection here? It's a question I've heard so many times before. Paul, you're nearly pushing middle age. All right, rude. How come you look 10 years
I
younger
don't know
than
if
you
I should
are?
play the
Only
commercial
10.
or
It's
skip
not
it,
rocket
but I'm
science.
skipping
It's
it.
called regularly moisturizing nightclubs came into existence. Care journey today. This has been the nightclub scene ever since nightclubs came into existence. To look at this and see it as something new can only come about through a lack of experience, observation, or because you've never been to a club. Is it right? Fuck no. But to make this racial is insane. Except that's not true, is it? Obviously, there's always been creeps in nightclubs, but sexual assaults in London nightclubs reached a 6-year high in 2021, climbing by a fifth since 2016. Major metropolitan areas in Canada have also seen sexual violence double since 2016. Probably just a coincidence, I'm sure. While foreign nationals are more than 3 times as likely to be arrested for sexual offences as British citizens. And yet, despite the fact that white girls were specifically targeted by Asian men in the UK's innumerable grooming gang cases, local authorities in Kent seem more intent on focusing on what they believe is the real threat. Teenage white boys.
This is garbage.
Go away, you're so immature.
Are you gonna tell me or not? Boy, where are you going? Wait, why don't you come over here?
Go away, just leave me alone.
Come on, I know you want a bit of this. Why didn't you come over here? Oi, I'm talking to you. You're right, girl. Give us a smile.
I just want to get home.
Shocking lack of diversity, but you can probably guess what's coming next.
Laugh, you moody cat. Leave it out, mate. Sorry.
Saw that coming a mile off. Meanwhile, back in reality,
Wow.
oh yes, the main perpetrator of sexual harassment outside of school, on the street, or on public transport. White British children. Interesting, isn't it, how the demographic of the toxic male literally never changes.
What? What?
Nothing.
I can stand here. I can stand there if I like. Just take a photograph of me. What? You can't be serious. Are you serious? Huh? Are you filming me?
No.
Oh, well then what's this? What's that if it's not filming me?
It's Facebook Live.
Literally never changes.
Go large? Feel like these large ones in my DMs? I don't know about you lot yet, but I'm definitely in the mood for spicy breast now.
Every single time.
Hey, sweetheart, you alright? What are you doing? That's enough.
I guess young white male actors have to find work wherever they can get it.
To act the right way.
Bro, not cool, not cool.
Wow.
Yeah, the propaganda is strong there. Oops. I didn't realize it's actually
Yeah.
got
it's
one
all good.
more video that I want to show you. And this this one made me mad. Really mad. All right, ready? Can you see it?
Hearing about people hurting animals is always shocking and awful. And what seems to be a pretty disturbing case of animal cruelty out of Pittsburgh has made a lot of people incredibly mad online. Police say they have found 2 women who were allegedly caught on camera kicking a tiny dog and flashing a gun during a dispute. This happened near Old Town in a driveway. Our Andrea Nakano has more and has a warning to you. Some of the video in this story you might find to be disturbing.
The good news is Gigi the dog is now back home as she recovers from her injuries. The owner, Albert Lope, says he cannot talk about this case, but he shares the story of his dog's recovery.
You yelling at my mama over there? I didn't yell at her.
That disc between her shoulders on her spine it affects many parts of her because it's nerves.
Gigi is improving every day after suffering injuries in an unprovoked attack. She takes a few steps, but mostly spends her time cuddling with her dad.
She's going to get every bit of loving and everything she needs that I could possibly give her.
This happened last week after Albert Lopes got into a verbal confrontation with 2 women. It ends with one of them violently kicking Gigi several feet.
Had to took that pressure
Best
washer
case
and washed
scenario,
the
time
black off of
and
her.
love. Worst case scenario, surgery, and hopefully she recovers.
This incident has shocked this community in Pittsburgh.
We've been here for many years and no one's ever, I think the only complaint is just people picking up their dog poop, but everything else is just like very, as you can tell, very quiet, very family oriented, very no issues at all.
But video of Gigi getting kicked went viral and leads started pouring in about the two women responsible for animal abuse. Detectives quickly identified Legacia Williams and Garciela Amar as the suspects. Both were arrested in Oakland Thursday night. Many say they just want justice served for Gigi.
Dog wasn't even barking.
No, she just took out whatever she thought was a beef on the dog. That's one step, not even one step. That's like just a hair below kicking a baby.
I know.
Like how psychotic. Lucky the dude. Well, if the dude had, I was gonna say lucky he didn't have like a pit bull or a Rottweiler or something. She wouldn't have kicked that. But if she was dumb enough to, it would have taken her leg and not given it back. But yeah.
So he picked up the one dog and didn't pick up the tinier one. The other one might have been all right.
Well, I think what he was thinking,
would have moved.
He was thinking it would probably follow him because
Try to bite
like
him.
Ivy is that big and Bella's the bigger one. I always have to pick Bella up, but Ivy will follow you and stay close, whereas Bella's the one that'll run and try to take on, something that'll eat her.
Man, he's lucky he wasn't quicker because he could have legally at least clocked her one real good one.
No, I mean,
Right to her
if that I don't think that was Pittsburgh, PA. That's somewhere else, but maybe it, KPIX. I don't know. Let me see where that is.
I think that is Pittsburgh.
San Francisco.
Oh.
That's because they were saying Bay Area. I'm like, But yeah, here, if that was Pittsburgh, PA, even though it is left-leaning liberal garbage, our castle doctrine and stand your ground would have applied here because she stepped up onto his property and kicked a family member and could have killed the family member because pets are considered family members. And he could have opened fire on her legally.
Well, she's gonna have one hell of a bill. Ashley's mom's dog got into a situation at our house, and it was $3,000 for a broken leg. I had to pay cash.
Wow.
And that's probably gonna cost way more than that. So they definitely gonna be paying.
Poor little puppy. Yeah. Mean, nasty people.
Disgusting people. Those are the type of people, they shouldn't be on the street at all because they will hurt anything. They don't care.
Yeah. Oh, it's obvious. Like I said,
later.
that's like a hair step below kicking a baby. I'm sure she'd fucking do that too without hesitation. That's psychotic.
I gotta get to bed though. Give me a call tomorrow whenever you get done.
Yeah. I like doing these. I'll try to find some. I go through this stuff all day during work. Like in between doing projects, I'll just like look at YouTube and go, okay, that's cool. Cue that up. But now actually sharing it and watching it with other people, that I think that's better. So.
All right. And is that Amia? Amia. I will talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Take it easy.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out too. I got one more day of work for the week. I have a meeting in the morning, so. But yeah, I'll try to find, like I said, I'll find some more stuff to watch. We can react to. I did figure out, I made like a scene for talking, so it shows the video down on the bottom left side of the screen now, and I actually found the I linked Discord and OBS, so now I can show people talking on the one side. So
That's good.
yes, it's coming together. I just still a little few kinks in trying to get things to flow smoothly, but it's going. It's getting there. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see ya.
Yep, take care.
Ever wondered how to bind keyboard keys to your gamepad buttons? The answer lies within a nifty tool called XPad One, available from the Microsoft Store. With this clever piece of software, you can not only bind your keyboard keys to gamepad buttons, but also control your mouse with the analog sticks. To kick things off, you'll need to create a game profile. This may sound technical, but it's as easy as pressing two buttons at the same time. Within any game, press the guide button and the start menu button simultaneously. Voila! You've just created a game profile. Now, the real magic begins. It's time to bind a keyboard key. The process is straightforward. Press and hold the guide button for 2.5 seconds. Don't worry about timing it perfectly because you'll hear a prompt. Next, press the desired keyboard key you want to bind to the selected gamepad button. And that's it. You've successfully bound a keyboard key to a gamepad button. If during the key binding you change your mind, after you have selected a gamepad button, you can press a different gamepad button and bind to the newly chosen button instead. At any time during the key bind process, you can cancel the key binding by simply pressing the selected gamepad button a second time, or press it twice if you have only started the binding process and have not selected a button yet. But remember, practice makes perfect. The more you use XPad One, the more intuitive it becomes. This software is designed to be easy to use but also powerful, giving you the ability to customize your gaming experience to suit your playstyle. So, why not give XPad One a whirl? It's a game changer, quite literally. Whether you're a seasoned gamer looking to switch things up, or a newbie trying to find your footing, this tool can make a world of difference. Bind your keyboard keys to your gamepad buttons, control your mouse with the analog sticks, and take your gaming to the next level. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Dive in, experiment, and see what XPad One can do for you. After all, the only limit is your imagination. Happy gaming.